Working with wild animals demands courage, experience, and years of training. Domadories, zookeepers, trainers, and wildlife specialists dedicate their entire lives to understanding the behavior of some of the most powerful creatures on the planet. Many of them develop incredible bonds with the animals under their care and have spent many years without ever experiencing any serious incident. But there is a reality that can never be ignored. No matter how trained an animal may seem, its natural instincts are always present, and in some cases, it takes just one single short moment of total unpredictability to turn a routine workday into a desperate fight for survival. Over the years, cameras have captured shocking episodes involving seasoned professionals who were caught completely off guard by lions, tigers, bears, orcas, and other wild animals during performances, training sessions, or seemingly normal activities. Some barely managed to escape, while others unfortunately were not so lucky. And that is exactly what you are going to see here today. So go ahead and drop a like, hit that subscribe button down below, and let us get right into it. During a circus performance in Egypt, a moment that was supposed to be just another routine animal act quickly turned into an extremely tense situation. As the show went on, one of the lions clearly showed signs of irritation and suddenly lunged at a trainer who was standing in the arena. The man tried to back away, but the powerful creature kept charging at him repeatedly, forcing other trainers to rush over and help. Armed with batons and other tools typically used for controlling the animals, the team members surrounded the lion and tried to distract it in order to stop the attack. For several long seconds, the atmosphere was complete chaos, while the audience watched the scene unfold without knowing exactly what was going to happen. Despite the lion's aggression and its continuous advances, the trainers managed to regain control of the situation and contain the lion inside the arena. Fortunately, as far as anyone could tell, no one suffered serious injuries. The incident, recorded by onlookers, quickly went viral on the internet and captured the attention of thousands of people, sparking huge controversy over the use of animals in circus performances, something that has already been banned in many places due to mistreatment and risks. Even when trained and accustomed to human presence, animals like lions remain extremely vigorous and unpredictable, and may react in unexpected ways at any given moment. In November of 2013, visitors at the Australia Zoo in Queensland, Australia, witnessed one of the most dramatic and shocking moments in the recent history of the park, founded by the family of the famous conservationist Steve Irwin. During a public training and interaction session with the tigers, an experienced handler named Dave Stiles was violently attacked by a Sumatran tiger right in front of dozens of stunned onlookers, many of them families and young children who were watching the presentation. The incident was recorded by visitors on their phones and quickly gained international attention after the footage was released by the press and widely shared across the internet. According to official reports from the zoo, the attack happened during what was supposed to be a routine training and play session with the animals. At a certain point, the tiger became way too excited and suddenly lunged at the trainer without any warning. The footage clearly shows the feline jumping directly onto Dave Stiles and sinking its teeth into his neck and shoulder area. The impact was so incredibly strong that the handler was knocked to the ground, while his colleagues, who were standing nearby, immediately rushed over to help him and pull the animal away. Some of the staff managed to drag him to safety and away from the tiger, stopping the attack before the injuries could become fatal. Dave Stiles was absolutely no beginner when it came to working with big cats. At the time, he was around 30 years old and had accumulated 9 years of solid experience working with these kinds of large predators. According to the zoo itself, he had helped raise this particular tiger ever since it was just a tiny cub, which made this entire episode even more surprising and shocking to his colleagues and the visitors who saw it happen. After the attack, medical teams arrived at the scene incredibly quickly. The trainer had suffered serious life-altering injuries. The paramedics managed to control the bleeding right there at the zoo, before he was airlifted by helicopter to the hospital. His initial condition was described as critical but stable. Fortunately, Dave survived. He underwent surgery and remained hospitalized under intensive observation, showing remarkable improvement in the following days. Shortly after, doctors confirmed that his condition was stable and he was no longer at risk of death. This case became extremely famous back in 2019 after a truly disturbing video started to circulate all over social media, showing a circus performer apparently being suffocated by a large constrictor snake during a live performance in front of families and kids. In the footage, you can see the man casually walks into the arena carrying the animal, and he displays total confidence while interacting with the audience. At a certain point, he wraps the snake around his own neck, which is actually a common maneuver in this type of performance, and he continues to receive applause from the spectators. Initially, nothing seems to be wrong at all. The audience watches the act, fully believing that it's all part of the show. However, just seconds later, the performer starts showing clear signs of distress. The snake tightens its grip around his neck and chest even more as he struggles to continue the presentation. Shortly after that, the man loses his balance and falls to the ground right in front of the crowd. Since many spectators believed it was still part of the act, some people even started applauding at that moment, not realizing the severity of the situation at all. When the performer makes desperate gestures asking for help, team members finally realize something is seriously wrong and they rush over to rescue him. The video doesn't show everything, but reports say staff members tried to unwrap the snake from the man's body while he remained completely motionless on the floor. After they managed to remove the animal, the rescuers carried the performer out of the arena, apparently unconscious. Since the footage ends without showing the outcome of the incident, it ended up contributing a lot to numerous speculations about his health condition. The case quickly went viral in several countries, accompanied by headlines claiming the trainer had died from suffocation. However, as journalists tried to properly investigate what happened, various contradictions emerged, and it's not really known what actually happened to the man, only that in fact he was suffocated by the serpent. In April of 2026, a circus performance in the city of Rostov-on-Don, located in southern Russia, turned into moments of extremely intense tension when an adult tiger escaped from the exhibition area and entered the audience after an unexpected failure in the security system. The incident took place during a routine involving 3 massive tigers and 2 trainers inside the main ring. While the powerful animals were performing in front of dozens of families, the structure that supported the protective barrier around the arena suddenly gave way, completely eliminating any separation between the predators and the public. Videos recorded by spectators clearly show the exact moment when the safety net completely collapses. Startled by all the sudden movement and the loud noise, the tigers start running frantically around the circus ring. Then, one of them takes advantage of the opening created by the barrier's failure, jumps over the fallen structure, and goes directly into the area where the spectators were seated. Children and adults were caught completely off guard, and what was supposed to be just another routine show quickly transformed into a potentially dangerous, life-threatening situation. The footage shows a variety of reactions from the audience. Some people rush toward the exits, while others remain frozen in place, unsure how to react. At a certain point, the circus's sound system transmitted urgent messages, asking spectators to remain calm, warning that panic could make the situation even worse. The tiger walked between rows of seats as staff members began evacuating part of the tent in a truly tense moment. According to witnesses, the animal even left the main tent area for a brief period. Meanwhile, trainers and specialized staff carefully followed it close behind, avoiding any sudden movements that could trigger an aggressive reaction. After several minutes of high tension, one of the trainers managed to put a restraint collar on the tiger and guide it back to a safe area. The animal was then taken to its enclosure without needing sedation or excessive force. Despite the enormous scare, no one was injured at all. Neither spectators nor staff members suffered any harm during the animal's escape. Russian authorities later confirmed that the tiger was recaptured safely and that there were no attacks on the public. The complete absence of victims was considered extremely rare, given the potential risk involved in a situation of that nature. The attack by the Orca Kasatka on trainer Ken Peters is considered one of the most well-known incidents in SeaWorld's history and was widely reported by the media at the time. The episode took place on November 29, 2006, during a presentation at the SeaWorld San Diego Park in California in front of hundreds of spectators who were watching the traditional Orca show. That day, Peters was participating normally in the performance alongside Kasatka, a female orca weighing over 5 tons and measuring about 5 meters in length. The act was reaching its climax when the trainer and the animal dove together to execute a maneuver that they performed regularly. However, instead of emerging and completing the trick, Kasatka grabbed Peters' left foot with her mouth and dragged him to the bottom of the tank, which was approximately 11 meters deep. What followed was a terrifying scene for those watching. The orca kept the trainer submerged for almost a full minute before returning to the surface. When Peters tried to regain control of the situation, Kasatka pulled him back down to the bottom for a second time. Witnesses reported that it was possible to see the trainer trying to stay calm while the other staff members made signals and attempted to attract the orca's attention away from him. Many people in the audience, including children, were shocked when they realized that this was not part of the presentation. According to SeaWorld itself, Peters managed to survive because he kept his composure throughout the entire incident. While being dragged, he stroked the orca's body and used techniques learned over years of training to try to reduce the animal's agitation. After several moments of tension, Kasatka finally released his foot, allowing him to surface and be removed from the water. The trainer suffered a fracture in his left foot, puncture wounds caused by the orca's teeth, and various minor injuries. He was taken to a hospital in San Diego where he underwent surgery. Despite the seriousness of the situation, his recovery was considered successful, and he survived without severe permanent after effects. Years later, the case returned to the spotlight when internal videos and documents about the incident were made public. The images showed in greater detail the intensity of the attack and fueled the debate about the effects of captivity on orcas. In November of 2017, a circus spectacle taking place in Hongtong County, in the Chinese province of Shanxi, transformed into a scene of utter chaos when a tiger escaped from its cage and charged directly toward the audience during a packed performance. The incident occurred at a local festival that featured wild animal acts and attracted many families in attendance. Hundreds of people were watching the show when the situation spiraled completely out of control. According to reports from that time, the tiger managed to open its way out of the containment area during the show itself. As soon as the animal left its cage, spectators noticed the danger and immediately began running in sheer panic. Videos captured by witnesses show people abandoning their seats and desperately trying to escape the arena while the feline advanced through the crowd. The stampede triggered moments of intense desperation, especially because there were many children present at the venue. During the chaotic escape, 2 children ended up being struck by the tiger. A 6-year-old boy suffered injuries to his head and face after being attacked by the animal. Another child also got hurt during the incident. Emergency teams were dispatched quickly and the victims received medical attention. Fortunately, the injuries were not fatal, although the attack caused great concern because of the victims' very young ages and how close the animal was to the public. Meanwhile, circus employees and local authorities launched an operation to regain control of the entire situation. Witnesses reported that the tiger kept roaming through the area for several minutes before they could finally restrain it. Police officers and handlers surrounded the animal and managed to capture it without any additional attacks being recorded. After being caught, the tiger was returned to its enclosure and the performance was immediately shut down. In October 2024, a tragedy sent shockwaves through the Russian circus community when experienced bear trainer Alyona Masljanova, who was 50 years old, was killed by one of the animals she kept on her property in the village of Pargolovo on the outskirts of St. Petersburg. Known for being part of a traditional family of circus performers, Alyona had worked with bears for decades and was regarded as a highly skilled professional when it came to handling these powerful animals. Even so, a devastating incident demonstrated once again how large predators can remain completely unpredictable, no matter how long they have lived alongside human beings. According to information released by Russian authorities, Alyona was in the middle of feeding 2 grizzly bears that lived in enclosures on the family property when one of them suddenly attacked her out of nowhere. The animal managed to grab hold of her and inflicted fatal injuries before anybody else could step in and intervene. Family members and emergency services were called to the scene, but unfortunately the trainer did not survive the severe wounds she sustained during the attack. The police launched a full investigation to determine exactly how the incident unfolded and whether there were any failures in the safety measures that had been adopted for handling the animals. The case gained widespread international attention after videos recorded immediately following the tragedy were made public. In the footage, one of the bears can be seen pacing back and forth inside its enclosure, looking visibly agitated, while the body of the trainer remains lying near the fence. The video quickly spread across social media platforms and news websites due to the extremely shocking nature of the scenes it captured. Many reports highlighted the stark contrast between Alyona's extensive experience with wild animals and the lightning speed with which the situation escalated into a deadly outcome. Alyona was part of a famous Russian circus dynasty that specialized in performances with bears. Her family had worked with these animals for many generations, and she herself had spent the vast majority of her life training and caring for them. For that very reason, the episode attracted even more media attention than usual, since it involved a professional who had an incredibly deep understanding of the behavior of the animals she worked with on a daily basis. In May of 2026, a dramatic incident that unfolded in Schkeuditz, located on the outskirts of Leipzig, Germany, grabbed international headlines and reignited an old ongoing debate about the private ownership of large predators. It all started when a tiger named Sandokan escaped from a private enclosure belonging to circus trainer Carmen Zander, a well-known figure in Germany who keeps multiple tigers in captivity and presents herself as the queen of the tigers. According to initial investigations, the incident occurred during routine activities inside the property situated in the Dulzig district. A 73-year-old man, described as an experienced assistant authorized to work at the location, was attacked by the tiger inside the animal's area. The feline inflicted serious injuries on the elderly man before it managed to escape the enclosure. Some reports suggest that the attack may have occurred during feeding time, although the exact circumstances are still under investigation. After the attack, Sandokan left the facility and began roaming freely throughout the region. The disappearance of an adult tiger triggered a massive police operation. Nearby residents received alerts to stay indoors, while heavily armed officers, emergency teams, and drones were deployed to locate the animal. The tiger traveled a few hundred meters and was eventually found near an area of community gardens and plots used by local residents. Faced with the immediate risk to the public, police decided to shoot the animal dead. According to authorities, the priority was to prevent the tiger from reaching busier areas or attacking other people. Fortunately, the animal was killed about 30 minutes after its escape. No other tiger escaped the property, and no other person was injured during the operation. The case gained even more attention because Carmen Zander was already a controversial figure. For years, animal protection organizations and local authorities questioned the conditions under which the tigers were kept. Earlier reports indicated that the property faced issues related to the space available for the animals and compliance with legal requirements for keeping large felines. Following the incident, fresh demands emerged for the remaining tigers to be removed and for the rules regarding private ownership of wild animals to be tightened significantly. In 2009, British journalist Charlie Starmer-Smith, then a travel reporter for the British newspaper The Daily Telegraph, lived through an incredible experience that almost ended in tragedy while he was filming a serious report at a lion reserve in the Limpopo province of South Africa. The purpose of the story was to showcase the important work being done by a big cat rehabilitation center, including a young lion named Mapimpin, who had been rescued as a cub and was being carefully prepared for a future reintroduction into the wild. Before entering the animal's enclosure, Starmer-Smith received several serious warnings from the headkeeper, a specialist named Harry. The handler explained very clearly that the journalist should not show any fear and must never run under any circumstances, since a lion could easily interpret that as prey behavior. Despite all the warnings, the reporter agreed to enter the feline's territory at his own risk, accompanied only by the keeper and a film crew who were documenting the entire experience in incredible detail. At first, everything seemed calm and quiet. The lion, who was just over a year old, approached in a seemingly friendly manner. The journalist even managed to pet the animal and believed the interaction would be much simpler than he had originally imagined. According to his own personal account, he began to relax and even started laughing at the situation. That was when the lion's behavior suddenly changed without any warning. The animal started circling around him, emitting low, menacing growls before grabbing his leg with its powerful jaws. The footage shows the exact moment when the lion bites down hard on the journalist's calf and drags him while attempting to play in an extremely aggressive way. Although the keeper initially interpreted this as typical young lion playfulness, the situation quickly spiraled out of control and became incredibly dangerous. The animal rose onto its hind legs and began pushing and biting the reporter with extreme speed, who was fighting hard to keep some distance from its sharp teeth. The caretaker immediately had to intervene, using restraint techniques and striking the animal's snout in order to distract it. Ari managed to get the lion to release the journalist's leg, but the danger had not yet passed. Just moments later, Mapinpan once again escaped restraint and lunged forward for a second time. This time, the lion tried to reach the reporter's neck and head. Starmer-Smith raised his arm to protect his face and ended up suffering a deep gash in the shoulder while the animal took him down and clawed at him with its full force. After several long seconds of struggle, the handler finally managed to push the lion away and corner it in another part of the enclosure. Seizing the opportunity, the journalist left the area and received medical attention. Despite the violence of the attack, he was lucky. He suffered cuts, bruises, puncture wounds from the teeth, and needed stitches, but came out of it without any life-threatening injuries. In May of 2017, a tragedy struck the animal caretaker community across the United Kingdom when 33-year-old keeper Rosa King lost her life after being attacked by a tiger at Hamerton Zoo Park, situated close to Huntingdon in the county of Cambridgeshire, England. The incident unfolded during what was seemingly a routine workday and quickly sparked widespread national attention, igniting fierce debate about safety protocols within zoos and the handling of such large and powerful predators. Rosa was a highly experienced and deeply beloved member of staff, well regarded by her colleagues. On the morning of the accident, she was carrying out her habitual tasks within the designated tiger area when, due to reasons initially unknown, she came into direct contact with one of the animals. Following an extensive investigation, authorities discovered no evidence suggesting the tiger had deliberately escaped or displayed any unusual aggressive behavior leading up to the event. Instead, it appeared that a combination of system failures allowed the tiger to gain access to the keeper inside a zone that was supposed to remain secure and isolated from contact. Emergency response teams, including paramedics, fire crews, and even an air ambulance helicopter, were dispatched to the location after the alarm was raised. Zoo staff managed to successfully drive the tiger away using standard containment procedures, but the injuries sustained by Rosa were incredibly severe. Despite the best efforts of the first responders, she tragically passed away at the scene. The zoo was closed to the public immediately while officials launched a detailed investigation into the circumstances surrounding her death. In the days that followed, speculation began to emerge regarding what might have triggered the attack. Some individuals believe the tiger had managed to break free from its enclosure, but the inquiry conducted by the British Health and Safety Executive concluded that no escape had taken place. The animal remained within the tiger enclosure for the entire duration of the event. The analysis indicated that a series of operational failures and security shortcomings had contributed to the keeper being left exposed to the predator. Among the identified issues were inadequate procedures for locking off access routes and deficiencies in the systems designed to prevent direct contact between employees and large felines. Further inspections revealed that the zoo had several ongoing irregularities connected to risk management practices. Authorities determined that basic safety measures were not being appropriately implemented. As a consequence, several years later, the zoo's management was prosecuted, and the institution received massive fines for violating workplace safety regulations. One particularly notable detail was that the tiger involved in the incident was not euthanized. Officials concluded that the animal had acted purely on its natural instincts and that there was no justification for holding it responsible for the tragedy. The tiger continued to live at the zoo following the conclusion of the investigation. Don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this one.